Dreamweaver works on the basis of creating an exact copy of your website on your local computer. So before you do anything else, you should always define a new site for any project you're working on. Without a site definition, Dreamweaver can't build the correct paths for your site assets, such as images, style sheets, and external JavaScript files. Everything might look all right on your local computer, but disaster strikes when you upload the files to your remote server. Setting up a site has been greatly simplified in Dreamweaver CS-5 and CS-5, so you'll need to familiarize yourself with the new process if you've been using an older version. To create a new site, go to the Site menu and select New Site. This opens the Site Setup dialog box. Site name is a local name for your site. I'm going to call mine DW Learn by Video. Doesn't matter if there are any spaces in it. This is used purely and simply on your local computer. And then you click the Browse for Folder icon to browse to where you're going to keep your local files. Mine are going to be kept in a folder called Video to Brain, so I'll click that and choose Select. And that's all there is to it. Just save. Dreamweaver builds a site cache, and there all your files are kept in your local site. Now this is obviously enough just for working locally, but the time comes when you want to upload your site to your remote server. So to edit an existing site definition, go to Site, Manage Sites, select the name of the site. You may have quite a few sites in here, and click Edit. And for the servers, select Servers from this list on the left. To add a server, click the plus icon at the bottom. Now there are several ways in which you can connect to a remote server. The most common is FTP, File Transfer Protocol. Dreamweaver also supports SFTP, Secure FTP, and this version now supports FTP over SSL, TLS, which is FTP using Secure Sockets layer. It's a much more secure way of connecting to your remote server. I'm going to imagine that we're going to connect using FTP, and I'll give the server name just the name Remote Server. And I'll put in a few imaginary details here. I'm not really going to connect to a particular server. Normally what you would do is you'd test your server connection by clicking this button here, and if everything's okay, you'll get a message saying that it's fine. The root directory is very often something like HTML_public, but you'll need to find that out from your server administrator. The web URL is normally your domain name, so I'm going to put in here example.com. The advanced settings, normally you don't need any of these advanced settings. I'll leave you to read the Dreamweaver help files to see if there's anything there that interests you. Then just click Save. And you see that it's set up my remote server. It's given me the IP address of my remote server, connecting by FTP, and it's checked the remote checkbox. You can add as many servers as you like in here, including testing servers, but you can only connect to one remote server and one testing server at a time. If you've been working with previous versions of Dreamweaver, you might be wondering what's happened to the place where you specify that you want to use links relative to the document or relative to the site route. That's now here in Advanced Settings under Local Info. The default setting is to have links relative to the document, but if you want to have links relative to the site route, select this radio button here. I'm going to leave it at links relative to document, and then just click Save. And because you've made changes, Dreamweaver updates the cache for your local site. Just click OK. And when you've finished, click Done. If you're not sure about the difference between links relative to the document and links relative to the site route, let me show you a couple of files which will demonstrate the difference. Now, in this file here, you can see that the links all begin just with the file name. Here we have index.html, rooms.html. The link here, it links directly to styles document relative CSS. Now if I go to my site root relative file, you'll see that each link begins with a / and it's a much longer URL or much longer path in this particular case because of the way in which I've set up the site. Something you need to be very careful about if you choose links relative to the site root is that Dreamweaver can't recognize site root relative links if you store your site on a different disk drive from the one where Dreamweaver is installed. Now in the case of Windows, this is always on the C disk drive. In the case of Mac OS X, it's the same drive where your applications folder is. If you're not sure which type of links to choose, my strong recommendation is that you stay with the Dreamweaver default, which is to create links relative to the document. It's much more common and it's a lot easier to set up within Dreamweaver. So there you have it, site definition, an essential and relatively simple task each time you start a new project in Dreamweaver.